Good morning, guys. This is my Guilin video, part 2. Part 1, the more cinematic type of vlog that I usually do, is over here, if you haven't seen it yet. So before we get to the video, just some things about Guilin, some names that you should probably know. Guilin is a city on the Li River in the Guangxi province of southern China. When people go to Guilin, they typically also go to Yangshuo and or Xingping in the Guilin area. A famous poet of the Middle Ages, Fan Chengda, would frequently paint paintings of Guilin and send them back home to his friends, and his friends actually considered them to be so surreal that they refused to believe that this could actually be a real place and concluded that it must just be a fantasy land that their friend had invented only in his imagination. Poppy and I took a 3-hour train from Shenzhen and then maybe had a little bit too much fun with the VIP treatment at my hotel. Poppy, how many things did you get?
I didn't exactly have a hand to put the room key in our door, so, you know. Can you tell me where the ice cream is? I really want to bite.
What? Why can't you see? Oh, you can't turn your head.
I can't. I'm really
you can take it off now. You have a... Oh my god.
See the skills? Mad skills. Mad skills.
Poppy is really taking advantage of the VIP treatment here.
How could you not? Free wine? Free food?
One of the first things that we did was head to Yangshuo to do what is one of the most popular things to do in Guilin, which is take a short cruise on the Li River. But when we got there, we saw that all of the boats had been painted this kind of plastic looking blue. There were old car tires attached to the boats, rubber mats on the floors. I guess they were trying to make them more functional, but I had pictured something like this. It did feel a bit like they had taken this beautiful natural boat made of lovely bamboo and kind of ruined it. I did try to ask if they had any normal boats.
We know like blue boats.
I was not successful. So we proceeded to the cruise. It was 120 RMB per person, and that's to get a private boat. If you want to get a boat shared with other people, then it's 100 RMB, so for only about $3 more, you get the boat all to yourself. The cruise was really beautiful, all the mountains surrounding us on the water.
Just right to pass the time. And ooh, please wake me in the morning before the sun rises.
Our first stop along the river. Look at this beautiful scenery. This is really pretty. It's kind of a cloudy day, but honestly the mist is really beautiful. At this stop alongside the river, there was a fisherman dressed in traditional clothes with his 2 fishing birds, and even though this guy was obviously just set up there as a photo op to make money off of tourists, I was still so excited to see him because actually before I moved to China, I read a book about cormorant fishing and I just found it so fascinating. Cormorant fishing is a very old way of fishing that originated in the 5th century and was used most predominantly in China, Korea, and Japan. These birds are called cormorants, and although they can fly, they're actually better at swimming and diving. Some of them can dive up to 45 meters underwater. They are definitely a lot better fishermen than humans are, so fishermen train their birds to catch fish for them. This form of fishing is not very commonly used anymore. Actually, on a lot of the Li River in this area, fishing is no longer allowed. So now most of the cormorants that you see are just for tourists. Even though the Li River cruise was really nice, we really still wanted that natural natural experience of being on a little bamboo raft somewhere, so we headed to Xingping. We have come to Xingping. It's a little town that is about 3 hours outside of Guilin. When I was doing my research about Xingping, what I really liked about it that made me want to go was people said that it was quieter, not as touristy, more authentic. This was from about 2 years ago, so I don't know if things have changed, but I definitely thought that Xingping was even more touristy than Yangshuo, very crowded. We were told that there was this great hike alongside the river, so we headed to do that, but we found out that this hike was just walking on a paved road, and there's all these people setting up stalls everywhere trying to sell you touristy trinkets and stuff like that. Some people were even doing the hike in golf carts, so not exactly what we had in mind. There are other hikes you can do where you go farther and you leave all that touristy stuff behind, but we didn't have a lot of time. It was our last day in Guilin, so we decided not to do that. One of the most famous things to do in Xingping is to go to the lookout point where you can see the scenery printed on the 20 RMB note. Behind me is the famous spot in Guilin where you can see the scenery from the 20 RMB note. Right there. I guess considering how popular it isn't really a surprise that it was so commercialized, but I don't know, there were all of these guys yelling that they are trying to sell you a picture of yourself and all these things, t-shirts, and there were even computers set up at the lookout point, so it was still very touristy, but you know, I am glad that I went. After seeing the 20 RMB note scenery, we resumed our quest to find those little charming bamboo rafts. We just want like a normal raft, quiet, and we're trying to find that, and it seems to be really difficult. It's actually not allowed on the river in the Xingping area, so they told us to head back to Yangshuo where we had already been. So we did go back there because we were determined to find this. We asked around a lot, people were really confused.
No.
Yeah.
I don't want to drive.
But finally we got a motorbike to take us to this little wharf. There was absolutely nobody there, no tourists, just us, and we got a boat. You guys can see how gorgeous that is in my first Guilin video, but it was definitely 100% worth it, and it was 100 RMB per person, so a little bit cheaper than the motorized cruise. Something I feel like I should say, if you're going to Guilin, then my #1 tip would be to avoid any and all tours as much as you possibly can. Guilin is one of the most frequently visited places in China, so there are going to be a ton of tours available there, people trying to get you to buy their tours, and I have found that the best way is to just go on your own, because these tours are going to be profoundly more expensive than just doing it that way. For example, the tours for the river cruise boat that we did, these tours would sell you that they're gonna pick you up at the hotel, take you there with a group of people, and provide you with some lunch, and all of this can be up to hundreds of dollars. But Poppy and I just went on our own. We took buses, and I think it was 2 hours to Yangshuo, 3 hours to Xingping. These buses would cost $3 or $4, so not very expensive, and then we would just make our own way once we got there. So Guilin is unquestionably a very beautiful place, such friendly people, like everywhere I've been in China.
America. Obama. Obama.
I'm China. I'm only practice my English.
English is very good.
Oh, thank you.
You speak such good English, really good.
Did you eat your dinner?
It is pretty touristy and it can be super crowded. I keep losing Poppy. There's people everywhere. I don't know where she is. Oh my gosh, it was like a real life game of Where's Poppy. I could not find you. Really? Yeah. Even though this was a touristy place, it's one of the few places where I felt that even though I know it's touristy, everything was still very well done, and you still do get such a rich taste of the culture here.
Never hoped it to start.
liked my Guilin videos. I have so many more exciting travels coming up as always, and you guys should definitely go and follow me on Instagram, besides posting photos obviously on there. I also am posting a lot of stories lately, just letting you guys know what's going on in my day-to-day life, and I definitely talk more to you guys when they're interacting, so yeah, that was Guilin, and thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye!
Before the sun